anybody know the slogan of Bihar Regiment? Birsa Munda ki jai. So I would like to do, though we are not Bihar Regiment, but still, Birsa Munda ki jai. Jharkhand, you see. And so such changes keep happening, but whether the changes are for the good, and I think those of you who were here yesterday, and if we remember Khaka, good of whom, I will be touching upon that. However, it's 23 years since Jharkhand was reorganized from Bihar. It is 9 years since BAPSA has made its presence and made new initiatives and history also in 9 years. But I think BAPSA as well as Jharkhand and the spirit of Birsa is yet to be imbibed in our lives more than our thoughts only. Why do I say so? Why do we have next door to JNU the suicides in IT Delhi? I think that BAPSA has to make its presence. Why do we have those deaths in IT Bombay, in IT Chennai? BAPSA has yet tasks to be accomplished. But if the roots are strong, the branches will extend. If the roots are strong, and the roots reflect the fruits, and therefore I'm proud that BAPSA was constituted and founded in JNU with all the friends and the fraternity, those whose solidarity accounts a lot. I think with that, BAPSA was founded and has made its presence felt constantly, and that is also what matters, because there are movements which rise and fall, but even if there is a decline, there needs to be a plateau before the zero, if we know the graph. Okay, now life of Birsa, as it was being talked about, I think couple of things I would like to only mention, and then look at what is my locus standi in the legacy of Birsa. I think I'll come to that. Now, Birsa Munda, fortunately for most of us who hail from the similar geographical area, has almost been nationalized. Okay, we do have the latest institution in his name, the Birsa Munda Tribal University in Gujarat. Okay, besides the engineering colleges and etc., and other agriculture university in Ranchi, and universities and colleges here, there, in many places. But what I am intrigued again and again is what caused this 15-16-year-old young boy. If those of you who come from the tribal village and very close ethos and the culture, after 10 or 12 years, a 6-year-old girl is almost equal to what the mother does. 10 to 11-year boy is doing exactly all the work that the father does. By then, they have learned all the requirements of their livelihood. But this 13-year-old or 14-year-old who was also exposed to modern education in the village was encouraged to go to formal school little away at Chaibasa. He left the school, is what is said, and this needs to be investigated, whether he left the school on his own, or whether, because some records also state that his father withdrew him from school in view of the Sepoy mutiny spreading also to those regions. My own guess is that after 1855, when Santal Hul took place, Santal Hul also would have had its own repercussions and spread into the in that same geographical area. But irrespective of all these things, he had withdrawn from the school and he came back to the village. Now, In the villages, all our tribal villages, there is always an akhada such as this. Okay. Now, akhada in Haryana and Punjab is where kushti is done, wrestling is done, not that. But every evening there is a gathering, learning of songs, dance, beating of drums, and etc. etc. But that is where people, young people, as well as elderly and everybody interacts and exchanges notes. And this man, this young boy, now treated as almost a responsible adult, had something else also brewing in his mind. He was withdrawn from school in 1890, as the records tell me. So if he was born in 72 or 75, and at 90, whatever was his age, 15-year-old, right? Yeah. So this 15-year-old, in the 10 years of his life, had done all the talking based on what he had observed in and around himself. And I strongly believe also, being in education, having attained education, formal education, and also in an environment which, I mean, luckily I didn't write CBSE, and so I was not expected to memorize answers. And in fact, we are told, किताब में जो लिखा है उसको तो लिखना ही नहीं है, अपनी भाषा में लिखो. You see, and so so therefore, if the education system, because I come from a similar school, I'm a school under the similar administration, and I am sure the education that he received also was one which expanded his scheme of things in the mind beyond his own identity, beyond his family needs, and beyond his friends and whatever was happening in and around. And so from age of 15, let's assume, to 34 to 24, if a person in 9 years, equal to BAPSA, this is history, was able to make these historical dents, that the British government had to set 500 rupee award for his head, okay, for him to be caught. Why? In the December of 1889, he sort of declared Ulgulan, and in January, just few days later, they got into some arms or more violent actions. But if some of you can open your WhatsApp and check in the Wikipedia, the photograph that has been put of Birsa arrested, look at the face of this 24-year-old. Can some of you open? Just check the 24-year-old standing with three constables. That constables are keeping their hands handcuffed, and look at the face. See, this has been the colonial process of criminalization of assertion, if I may put it. It was criminal. Okay, Birsites did, they killed 2 constables. They attacked Khuti police station, okay, on 5th and 7th of January 1900. And then immediately the commissioner and the deputy commissioner of police, they were commissioned to arrest him with 500 rupees reward. Look at the method of getting him. So somebody, it says that somebody must have given leads to the police, and so for that it was 500 rupees way back in 1900. Isn't it criminalization of assertion, criminalization of self-respect? I don't want to use the term self-determination here formally, but I'm sure education or formal education had made a contribution in this. I was just trying to see the website to prepare for another webinar this afternoon, and I saw in the picture of Jharkhand. And one of them was so very depressing. has got whole lot of these tourist sites. Not even one green leaf is visible, whereas the name of Jharkhand, for which we've had such radical, daring, I mean, unimaginable the icons who gave, without even thinking about their life, they did what they thought was right. And where they saw, they were able to perceive what was not right. And but now that it's been 23 years of Jharkhand, and the portrayal of Jharkhand has not even one green leaf, whereas the name means khand of all jhards, that is shrubs. Okay, never mind. But then I would like to therefore look at what does the spirit of this 24-year-old boy whose picture we can see in Wikipedia, whose photograph, what must have caused him to be so daring in order to take up this matter of not only identity of themselves. And yesterday, those of us who were here yesterday, it's been a colonial gift to India, and especially the weak, that it becomes all the time, it is the deal between unequals, isn't it? Professor Khaka used this phrase yesterday. And in this, given all that, we only get to see the margins are only widening. I tried to say this yesterday also. Now, all the provisions that are there in our constitution and what is being entrusted as the responsibility to the authorities and those in power to reduce the margin, but the margin seems to be only increasing. Yesterday we also mentioned that jobs hi nahi hai, the margin to aur bhi badh hi gayi. Okay, but that doesn't deter from you and me to gather in on such occasions to also pause and see what could be, not should, what could be one of the things that I should pause and also do. Like yesterday, Professor Khaka also mentioned, like whenever it's a deal between unequals, for whose interest is being put at stake. Okay, so am I okay with that? Because it was not okay with Birsa. Okay, am I okay with somebody else's interest if I'm not in the set of those whose interest is in the focus? Then it was not okay for Birsa, and should it be for me today if I'm talking and we are engaging in this discussion or to try to listen to each other. Now, through the provisions and some of the schemes and provisions, let's say, and there has been also this attempt that okay, empowerment ho jayega, education ho jayega, dignity mil jayegi. Now with the so-called empowerment, there continues to be this gap between those who can access and not access. I have visited Kerala in September, and I've been engaging with them. The GRE in state of Kerala, with whom we consider to be doing the best, GRE is not 100. The dropout rate in schools is still not 0. If GRE is not 100, there are still some who are lost for the empowerment, which can lead to empowerment, right? There are who are lost. If dropout is not 0, then there are lost. So now, therefore, there is always, it's not only the haves and have-nots, because I think even within the tribal community, now with exposure and engagement with the non-tribal world, part of education, due to education, migration for various reasons and so on and so forth, I'm wondering whether this dignity, the question of dignity also gets centralized to, or it gets attention in something called a virtual, I use this phrase and I forgot now, something like a virtual reality, let me say, so that even among the tribes, tribals, the community, the same tribe, also whether there is this ethos of collective is weakening. And so the I comes rather than we. Okay, if a Minj stands, he is supposed to be, I'm Minj and the other Minj is there, supposed to be either my nephew or no, brother, or if elderly, then in the parent category. And therefore, I mean, there's not supposed to be you and I. There is always only we. But then with dignity and education and everything else is also in case of dignity, there a virtual system which is coming so that only some get to have certain people's dignity matters more than some others. So there is, besides the interplay between the tribals and Adivasis and non-Adivasis, whether within Adivasi also, we are going to have this division कि उनकी dignity educated हो गए, उनकी dignity ठीक है तो सबकी हो गई. अरे नहीं, जिनको आपने, I visited the Paniyas on the hilltop. There are only 19 children who go down to the school in, this is in Wayanad, Kenyambetta area. Okay, I managed to climb the hill. It was raining, but somebody helped me up. The 19 children who go to school go down to the school. Okay, but there aren't 19 houses there. There are more. So there are still the last, and some of these 19 will be lost also very soon if the needful is not done, because this dignity also may be for the educated and then everybody else the average nikal ke. No, it can't be. Now, constitutional provisions, yesterday I was trying to give some instance of constitutional provisions also, such as reservation, can also become a tool to again keep the people in the margin only. Because अगर तुमको पढ़ा देंगे तो तुम तो आ जाओगे. So therefore the status quo, see, even to play work around reservation, which is a provision for those who are unable to obtain that quality education, but it's there. And non-implementation of policies. Now, even yesterday I was just trying to think of, a forest act. I think trying to implement it uniformly in certain areas is again, it's against the people there, because sometimes what happens is it's the people, the wildlife and the forest. Now, one of these only get the attention, not all the three together. So why is this arithmetic not working well? Okay, and so so therefore, although there can be certain widespreading things such as sixth schedule, fifth schedule stuff, but there has to be a customized attempt, and which can come under the scope of equity. Now, other one important thing that I would like to mention here, I can only speak this in JNU because I know for sure I was told 10 students are doing research in tribal related topics. I don't know who the supervisors are. I only hope the supervisors are also doing academic supervision. Never mind. My question is about data sovereignty. My question is about knowledge democracy. My question is also about knowledge governance. Tomorrow I'm going to be with the Bodo Sahitya Sabha. I was told very clearly, I'm not going to tell the name of the brand. This group has gone into the Bodo area. All the Bodo traditional medicine the formula is taken. Some part of processing is happening there also in the Bodo land, and it is being sold by that brand name. What is going to the Bodo people? Probably they have some job, cleaning wala job hoega, chahe to wo initial processing of the herbs hoega. Okay, getting the, collecting the material ho sakta hai. All that is happening, and they are getting salary. Who's getting the profit? Salary is different from the stake or share on the profit. How about the intellectual property? Data sovereignty is about that. Whenever, now worldwide, towards why did the Millennium Development Goals become Sustainable Development Goals? I hope somebody has done some research and somebody has done the supervision. But they became Sustainable Development Goals, not Millennium Development. Why? The word sustainable has become a mystery. And the only solution, I'm told, is with the indigenous peoples across the globe because they have sustained. And so, but in order to do that, solve all these climate problems and everything else, data sovereignty, knowledge democracy, giving even recognition to the people who have shared their own valuable data. It's not information, it's knowledge, because it may have taken ages, centuries probably, for the Bodo people to get those medicines. Likewise, for all our traditional medicines, it would have taken years and years, probably centuries, to get that in a perfect shape. The same way the pharmaceutical companies do. Now they do it, their approach is different, but here the approach is different. But even the food systems and etc., right? Suddenly all our millets went because of certain revolutions. Okay, our food was said to be Garib ka khana, and suddenly when I became little educated, I said I am not going to eat Garib ka khana because I am going to be educated. But that is my choice. But what happened is all the cultivation of millets was so systematically impacted that those who cultivated millets, they started cultivating rice, paddy, and of whatever quality. So millets went, our food went, malnutrition started then. When we were dependent on the forest fruits, forest produce, malnutrition was not there. I'm sure. I need to be contested by the data. Okay? And so, my question here is definitely when there is a study with about the tribals, on the tribals, their knowledge, and about them, their culture, even the painting. Sohrai painting is a painting of the Santal tribe. You'll see in Ranchi the walls being painted by some painters. Is that painter a Santal? My question therefore is data sovereignty, knowledge governance, and knowledge democracy. When my knowledge is taken, it should be with my consent. And I can have the right to withdraw my consent also. Okay, so these are some issues that I would like to raise today, because this is what pushes me to do. If I remember Birsa and that young picture that I see, well, in education, in Kerala, I've been trying to now get in a discussion about, they are like every other state must be doing. Why should I point out Kerala? Quality education, right? Quality education is only going to empower even the marginalized or the weak. Nah. You've not done anything about equity. Only quality, 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 so that equality will happen. Where is equity? At least bring in equity somewhere and quality, then probably equality. So my formula is equity, and those of you understand the Boolean and, okay, not the plus addition, because two types of things you can't add rice and orange. Okay, so therefore I'm putting a Boolean and equity and quality can result into, it's not even equal, can result into equality. So till such time we have equity embedded in the required places, I think the margins will widen and widen and widen only. And so, therefore, I hope next year when we gather again or in between, we could talk about certain things to be taken in detail or newer issues. Why should I come back again if I'm alive in 24 on 15th of November, and again talk about data sovereignty, knowledge democracy, and knowledge, what was that? Knowledge governance. Okay, everybody does the publication, right from where Alvin, everybody is done study and published about tribals, where has been a mention of their consent. And let me tell you one more thing. I think this I learned and I was very happy about this in Santal Pargana. मैडम वो लोग आते हैं, सवाल पूछते हैं और ऐसे सोचते हैं कि उन्हीं को सब आता है. अगर उनको सब आता है तो मेरे से क्यों पूछते हैं? और अगर उनको आता है तो हमसे नहीं पूछना था ना. ओके, ठीक है, वो हमारे बारे में जानना चाहते हैं. ओके, ठीक है, वो तो आ रहे हैं, रिसर्च है, प्रोजेक्ट है, दिस है, दैट है, उनकी तो बस जिंदगी बन गई, हम तो यहीं रहेंगे ना. सो देयरफॉर I don't answer after a point, after a particular point. वो सोचते हैं इनको सवाल ही नहीं समझ में आया, इनको ये नहीं समझ में आता है कि हम तो सब समझ रहे थे, कुछ ज़्यादा ही समझ रहे थे. इनको ये समझ में नहीं आया कि हम इसीलिए नहीं बतलाना चाहते, because there is no policy, there is no academic ethics or research ethics. There is no research ethics about research when you engage with people, including tribal people, any people. And therefore there has to be probably the Center for Inclusion Exclusion can work on these research ethics when research is done, getting primary data from the people about them and what they have inherited from their forefathers. Because my Urao culture is not my father's creation. It has come from my purkhe, okay, which has been handed down to me by my grandmothers. I say grandmothers because I didn't have my grandfather marry too many. No, all my nani sisters, they were all grandmothers, okay. So all that I have learned from all the elders is part of, only a minuscule part of Urao culture that was not created by them. And it has been only inherited. And so everything, all the ethos has had the test of time to come to what is sustainable, and therefore they have sustained. And therefore I think from this is my last thing, we study in social sciences intersectionality, you know. As a mathematician, I have a problem with the word intersectionality. What is this? See, intersection is the richest of overlapping sets. So why problematize it? Look at the resilience, the model of resilience it might have. And so I think I can get into debate with my colleagues and others also, that if we want to bring out another concept from this intersection besides intersectionality, with these words, I want to also mention this last thing, that Bihar, does anybody know the slogan of Bihar Regiment?
Yes.
Bihar Regiment. I picked it up from Wikipedia, so I hope it is correct. It says war cry, matlab jo bhi ghosh of Bihar Regiment is Birsa Munda ki jai. So I would like to do, though we are not Bihar Regiment, but still Birsa Munda ki jai. Thank you.